Wakey, wakey, future twerpsicle.
What? Where am I?
Right the fuck where you belong, kiddo. Oh, we're gonna have so much fun, Timmy Turner. Meet your new babysitter, Mr. Deep Dish. Up, up. One false move, and I drain your berries of magic, mana, and life force energy. And then transfer it over to this Nerf power sword.
I'm not going anywhere! What do you want from me?
Oh, nothing. You just gotta count up your sins. You know what I find this apropos? The 5th episode of Season 10? The 5th fandom arson in this Fuck You It's a Marathon. Not only are you put into the damsel in distress role again, but it's all to have you be rescued by Butch Hartman's current favorite significant other to be paired up to you. That's right, Chloe fucking Carmichael! Oh, and speaking of that, Mary Sue, don't expect her to come rescue you. We already thought of that and took special precautions. Like this!
Oh no, Chloe!
And you would not believe how easy it was. The Norn Institute for Perfectly Perfect Pubescence. Obviously not one of my better traps, but I'll hold you off on a little dip in the volcanic core of Hotlands if you can keep quiet during the review. And while we're on the subject, an idiot boy frozen in kryptonite, that can definitely bring a peace garden together. Okay, clearly you're spoiling the after right in the before, so enough chit-chat. Let's get to the during. Ladies and gentlemen of the mob, time to riot loose with a fandom arson of the Fairly Odd Parents episode 141A, The Fair Bears. Belts up, gang. We're about to land. That's the best sounding elevator music I ever heard. The episode begins with the conclusion of yet another school day with Chloe doing her Mary Sue shtick and Timmy being a smartphone commercial, as per usual. You know, in hindsight, I kinda find that trap a bit more funny, since back then Timmy's inability to get a smartphone was the driving force in that episode, yet now in Season 10 he can't even be able to be seen without it. That's a shame. So the gang head to Chloe's house, where they are introduced to
the Care Bears.
Oh, you fucking wish it was the Care Bears, but instead we get
The Fair Bears!
Of course!
They have all 26 seasons on DVD! Never touch them!
Hey! Okay, so Chloe's touchy about her Fair Bear DVDs being harmed in any way, but that reaction's a nice punchline. But that's all there is, a punchline. A good setup for this sort of joke would be if Timmy just went, okay, throwing it in the trash before the little outburst happened. If a thing like that had been present, then the joke would have been complete, and then that scary face of hers would have served its purpose it was only made for, that of a joke. It would have been funny, but the fact that the writers don't even know how timing works, especially important for comedy no less, that just pressed the show's self-destruct button.
You diabolical dastard!
And the best part is, it has a theme song!
Welcome to a world that's always fair. Get flexible from silly bears who care. like you as a person, I can tell you 1,000,000,000,000% do not attempt to have a career in music.
Oh, if you think that's as generic as a Care Bear clown can get, wait till you hear them in action.
I'm Bear Bear, and I believe that no matter how good you are, you can always be better.
His name was Shit Sherlock. First name, no.
I'm Happy Ray. Be happy. And that's an order.
You're not fooling anyone, Mighty Ray. And no, I do not fear your mighty eyeballs.
I'm Fair Bear, and I never cheat.
Oh, what was that? Oh, here it comes! No, I can't stop it!
And her obsession with this cut-rate Carlock carries up the episode's plot by summoning these fictional characters into the IRL plane.
Look, Bear Buddies, we're in a super fun new world.
Sure, you think it's fun, but then you see the pollution, the greed, and the bitter racism, and then talk to me about fun. Naturally, Timmy wants to get out of this sugar-coated hellhole of an episode, but Happy Ray ain't having none of that.
Let's play the Fair Bear board game.
I'm already bored.
The perfect reaction. Timmy Turner tries cheating his way out, but Fat Bear's reaction is swift and severe.
Put your sleepy head on your sleepy bed and close your eyes and sleep.
Hypnotize, hypnotize, hypnotize. Yep, Timmy and Wanda have been fairy napped, and almost immediately brainwashed.
We're very, very good buddies now. I love everyone.
This has got to be the most destructive stereotype ever stamped onto a sense. The last time the show stopped a stereotype onto us. Tenderheart Bear, are you saying that this show is racist? I know exactly what to do. 4!
Face it, idiot boy. When the world is better off without your existence, why bother with it at all?
Laugh all you want. I've already seen that world, and if it's the one you really want, then go right ahead, because obviously I ain't the one stopping you.
With the Fair Bears aiming to add Chloe to the collection, and also Cosmo's eating his magic wand.
I thought it was a tofuki.
It's getting old!
So it's up to the Mary Sue to save the day. While the Fair Bears wait for traffic, guess who else shows up?
My fairy finder's in a frenzy! I'm gonna beg me some fairies!
It's getting old!
Welcome to a world that's always fair. Get lots of love from friendly bears who care. I never thought I'd say this, but that song is driving it.
I know, cheap joke, but hey, I just couldn't resist, alright?
Relax. All I have to do is follow these signs to the spare one.
It's getting old!
Hey! Ah, what do you know? It was in my sock the whole time.
We're done! 3! Crocker defeats the Fair Bears for Chloe, and ultimately the Fair Bears swear revenge. The end.
Conclusion.
You know, a wise fellow by the name of Will Rogers once said, "You never have a second chance to create a first impression." A noteworthy example of this lesson is Mega Man's Dr. Albert Wily pleading for mercy upon his first defeat at the hands of the titular Blue Bomber. He promised that he'd be good from now on, but here we stand in the light of day, having seen Wily on his knees another 11 times, much to Rock's and our irritation. Oh yeah, and before you go to point out how Wily left behind the cure for Robo-Enza, please understand that it's the classic Mega Man series. Wily created Robo-Enza because video games, so the point is, mess up on your first outing, and you're never gonna get a second chance. I'm perfectly fine with you liking Chloe as is, but the fact that she can be a much better character than the one Hartman and company had produced
This is why the Fairly Odd Parents is pretty much the Sonic the Hedgehog of television. A product of the times which chooses to toss things at the wall without any rhyme or reason. On that note, I feel like comparing Sparky the Fairy Dog to Sonic 06, since Chloe has pretty much become the show's answer to Sonic Boom. I think this is why nearly no one really gravitated towards either of them past the initial ratings trap. They were pretty much soured by their first appearances, and now they want nothing to do with them. The show has been a regular customer in our search for the worst, and will continue to be a regular customer, simply because it has the exact same problem as Sonic the Hedgehog, in that the creators toss in everything they can imagine at a wall without even seeing if it can stick by itself. At least with tripe like Brain Freak, you can at least get in a few genuinely good laughs from this form of generic pandering. Here, literally the only thing that makes this not worth the dunce cap is that it's mercifully shorter than Share Scare. I don't know what else to say except Butch Hartman is in the lose-lose situation of being employed by Viacom, and through this very drivel, it most obviously shows his disappointment and hatred for the company. In obvious news, Fairbears lands on the exact same slot in the Season 3 rankings as they do in the Fairly Odd rankings. What an exact shock! So the staff is pretty much trapped in an endless cycle of producing a show that wants to die, for a network that avoids any sense of variety and change in a never-ending battle to die. And believe me when I say I can stand it no more. 2! With the wisdom of Skull. Stop it, Deep Dish! You're hurting them! There's no reason for you to be killing them, Deep Dish! Oh, on the contrary, my little DLC dickbag. I have every reason to kill them. Why the fuck is he still talking? Get her done! Yes, the sooner we cast this decayed cannon into the armpits of hell, the faster we can take its ideas and start completely from scratch. Idiot Boy, please understand that this franchise is beyond hope. It's Nick, sorry.
You mustn't blame yourself, even though it is all your fault. Tell me, remember where you walk through.
In this next canon, never forget that you brought this on yourself.
Attack!
One. Re-render shades. Oh, pain. Oh, everything's in pain.
everything but my bow beard. Always good to know the bow beard's okay. Aw, man!
Bet you didn't expect to hear Axel's music in the credits of an episode where I obliterated the Fairly OddParents canon with my beard. That actually happened, by the way. There were no retakes. I completely shaved it off on the weekend I compiled the end scene at my grandmother's, my Mary's house. So I wanted to cap off this marathon with a bang. And after watching Little Axel's Know Your Moves on Diddy where he burns said bitch alive with those laser eyes he pulled out by taking off his glasses, and yeah, I couldn't think of a better way to end it than to amp it up to me blowing up the entire godforsaken canon of this freaking franchise. So yeah, good episode. I liked it. Special thanks goes to Relaxalax and Toxic X Eternity for the whole baseline of the scene and the corresponding song, respectively. That song was actually used in the Diddy Kong review, by the way. You should go watch it. Like, favorite, comment, and subscribe if you're a conformist. Follow us on social media if you feel so inclined. And if you like what we do and want to make it better, then please hit us up on your local Patreon and donate as much as you like for as long as you can afford it. Alright, ladies and gentlemen of the mob, thanks for riding loose with our fandom arson. Until our one good fight, good night. And stay frosty. Peace out, yo. Look, I know I pissed off a lot of my fans for destroying one of our favorite shows, but how about I make it up to you? How about I do a reboot of the show addressing what can make the show better than the faceless mess we have right now? You do know it's faceless, right? Or should I remind you that the Fairly OddParents did a one-off episode that made the rest of the show a hypocritical mess in comparison? Oh, what the heck, the Viacom clip of the day does it for me.
Would it kill you to leave the lid down? Would it kill you to look before you sit?
Why do cable outlets keep on broadcasting me? All my new shows are shit.